Our FBI Special Agent Nicole Parker to break this story down. Nicole, it's good to have you on the show again. It's great that you joined us tonight. We appreciate it. You saw the story. Attorney General Merrick Garland tells House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan the DOJ will make U.S. Attorney David Weiss available for a sit-down interview with House Judiciary over those whistleblower allegations. DOJ, FBI officials obstructed probes in order to help Joe Biden. What did you think of this story?
You know, this is very, very important. Americans want to know what is going on. And if Mr. Weiss is indeed able to take charge of these investigations, then that's what needs to happen. And there needs to be no interference from anybody else at DOJ.
So we've got, Weiss confirmed an ongoing investigation into bribery allegations by a veteran FBI informant involving Biden, Hunter Biden, and the founder of Burisma. When you saw that story, how serious did you think this is?
I mean, this is, extremely serious. Like I said, Americans deserve to know what is going on. I think that, this week has been a very big week for the FBI and for involvement in these types of investigations. The Biden family has been looked at over and over, but the FBI and DOJ seem to be turning a blind eye or slow walking these types of cases.
So we've got House Judiciary. There's another new scandal, a new investigation into why FBI officials spied on two House staffers who worked for Congressman Devin Nunes in 2017 while Nunes on House Intelligence was investigating the FBI for its botched Trump-Russia controversies. That the FBI subpoenaed Google and got these GOP staffers' email records, personal home and business addresses, phone records, and more. Jim Jordan says this was retaliation for exposing FBI abuses. When you saw that, what was your take?
It definitely does not look good. And like we learned that the only way that they found out about this is because Google was notified or had to notify the users because of the terms of the due process that was served. But, these users would have never known this otherwise. And so, just over and over, we want transparency in what is happening. And when things are being investigated, you should not be the subject of an investigation yourself because you are looking into other, investigations. It's just a continuous pattern here. And Americans want transparency. People want to know the truth. And Jim Jordan is going to get to the bottom of this.
But Nicole, this other story, the FBI workers, the agents catch a lot of bad guys, criminals, terrorists, drug and human traffickers. But GOP lawmakers and whistleblowers warn the problem is a heavily politicized D.C. field office getting way too involved in politics and abusing surveillance powers. Let's get your reaction to what happened with this hearing about the FISA powers for the FBI today. Watch this.
But I think what is broken needs to be fixed. Given the threats facing our nation from the ruling Chinese Communist Party that represents both the leading and most consequential threat to U.S. national security and leadership globally.
There's no question that the FBI and other agencies have continued to defy federal law and abuse their powers under FISA. The only question is what you're going to do about it.
We must consider whether FISA and Section 702 can be reformed or if it's beyond repair. The FBI has used FISA, specifically Section 702, to spy on Americans, to violate the Fourth Amendment and conduct warrantless searches.
What do you think, Nicole?
Again, in this hearing that Christopher Wray testified at, this came up over and over about the Section 702, my apologies. And this is one thing that Republicans and Democrats actually agree upon. Americans deserve to have privacy, and that should not be an issue. And I think that they're going to have an issue with getting this renewed in the current format that it is. There will be drastic changes that will need to take place in order for this to continue.
And Nicole, voters out there see a politicized FBI. They ran a botched Trump-Russia probe, found no Trump-Russia collusion to hack Democrat emails. They relied on opposition research paid for by Democrats. That was run out of the D.C. office, not a field office. They ran the Mar-a-Lago raid out of D.C., not Miami. Didn't alert Congress that had allegations of bribery involving Joe and Hunter Biden. We don't even know what the truth is behind that. We just know the allegations. And FBI Director Wray only came forward with that information when he was threatened with contempt of Congress. And IRS whistleblowers and FBI whistleblowers saying that, this has been a problem, what's going on with the FBI.
And you're noticing a pattern, right? You go through each of these things and there's a pattern. It's involving those at the WFO field office level or at the headquarters level. And I think the key is for the FBI to put the power back into the the hands of those working in the field, in the various field offices. I'm not saying that every field office is perfect, but I think that is a very important solution. After hearing these, the congressional testimony of Christopher Wray, there are 38,000 employees at the FBI, and there are some outstanding employees at the FBI, but I can tell you Americans, they have a very negative opinion of the FBI. And right now, that does matter because the court of public opinion matters when you're trying to conduct your job as an FBI agent. So whether it's a handful of people involved in it or not, they can take down an entire organization's reputation. And there are a lot of very wonderful, hardworking agents. I mean, we're talking about a murder investigation that's been solved. And, no one cares to hear that when the FBI is politicized. So
we hear you loud and clear. Nicole Parker, thank you so much for joining us this Friday night. It's good to see you.
thank you.